Jesus, he calls us to higher things, but that doesn't mean harder things. He calls us to pour out into others, but that doesn't mean he calls us to be empty. I have an illustration I'd love to share with you to kind of show this. Imagine with me, you are treading water in deep water, and you've been treading for a long time, you're really tired, and you're just struggling to keep your head above the water. Some of you are like, Joe, I don't even need to imagine that. That's where I'm at right now. And as you're treading water, I come up to you and I say, hey, I see you're treading water. Here's something for you to take. And you're like, I'm treading water. Like, I'm struggling, Joe. Do you not understand? I can't take anything. But okay, Joe, I trust you. What is it you need me to take? Does it weigh anything? Because I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, it weighs 5-10 pounds. And you're like, Joe, how out of touch are you? Right? You said you understand I'm treading water, but you're asking me to take this weight. But I guess, Joe, I trust you. I'll take this weight. But how do I hold it? Does it have a strap for me? Do I balance it on my head? Because I need my arms to tread water. I'm like, oh, no, you just have to hold it. I'm like, hold it, Joe. Do you not see I need my hands to tread water? How am I supposed to give one up to hold what you have? I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And I'm like, hold it with one hand. No, you need to hold it with two. And you're like, okay, Joe, I'm ready to lose it right now, right? You say you understand, but you're so out of touch. I'm drowning. And you want me to hold this weight with two hands. And it doesn't make sense. It seems out of touch. But the thing is, what I know that you don't know is that what I'm holding, it's not a weight, it's a life preserver. So yeah, it's 5 to 10 pounds. Yeah, you need to hold it with two hands. But it's not something that's going to make you sink. It'll help you float. And I think when I talk about calling to love others more, it can feel really overwhelming. I know it can for me, because sometimes with the ways of the world, we don't understand Jesus' way. And some of us are exhausted because we're trying to keep ourselves afloat. We're trying to tread water with our strength. And what if God isn't asking us to do that? What if instead he's offering us a life preserver? Matthew 11, 28 and 30, it says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And this is Jesus talking. This verse, it was shared with me by Pastor John Mark, and this was a couple months ago, and I was in my treading water moment. I had just switched jobs. I came on staff here at church. I was learning kind of how this works, trying to catch up. At the same time, we're in the middle of adoption, and so we were at the thick of our home study, filling out tons of paperwork, finding forms. Like every night was filled with that, and all these adoption bills started coming. And so I was stressed out from all of that, and I decided one weekend my family and I were going to get away to de-stress. And I have two cars. I have a good car and a bad car. And I was smart, and I was like, let's take the good car up, because I don't know if the bad car will make it up that mountain. Well, we got to the top of the mountain, and it turns out my good car wasn't that good. And the mechanic said the engine imploded. That was his technical explanation, was it folded in on itself. And so it was totaled. And I had to take a rental back, and now on top of all the other things were cars being, and I didn't feel like the world was just like coming down on me. It was so hard, it was squeezing me out. I wasn't just poured out, I was squeezed out. And I remember I was in John Mark's office. I broke down crying, which was embarrassing for me. And he shared this verse. And interestingly, 2 days later, I was talking to my dad on the phone about the car stuff and kind of telling him where I was at. And he shared the same verse. And between the two of them, they kind of gave me two insights that I'd like to share with you. So when it talks about taking a yoke upon you, if you are not familiar with yokes, I know we don't use them that much anymore. A yoke in that time, it was a wooden beam that would connect two livestock together. And you would have an older oxen and a younger oxen, oftentimes the farmers would, and they would, to teach the younger oxen how to plow the field, they would yoke it to this older oxen who could do it by himself. And the older oxen would just kind of go in his path, and the younger oxen just needed to follow. And what John Mark and my dad shared with me is they said, hey, you are stressed out, you're anxious, you're tired. And I think that it's one of two things. One, you have the wrong yoke. Because Jesus says in this verse, he says, my yoke is easy. So if your yoke isn't easy, you might have the wrong yoke. I can get myself in trouble a lot because I try to find rest or find fulfillment through things like career, money, relationships. And those yokes are hard. right? They won't fill me. They won't fulfill me. Those are hard. In this instance, though, I think I was on the right yoke, but what I was doing was the second thing. And he said, sometimes you are yoked to the right thing, but here's the thing. Jesus is he's the strong oxen. He's going at his pace, his way. And when I try to take things in my own hands, I can unnecessarily strain. So the older oxen, he might be moving this way, and I'm yoked to him, and I'm trying to go this way. And so I'm struggling as hard as I can. I'm not budging him, and we're still inching forward at his pace, but I'm unnecessarily trying my hardest to go this way. Or maybe he's going along, and I'm trying to get ahead of him. And I'm trying to pull as hard as I can, but I'm not pulling him because he's stronger than me. And all I need to do is submit and get back in line with his ways, trust that he knows the right path, and my yoke can be easy. Similarly, I think for myself and for many of us, when we're thinking of filling our cup, we're thinking about pouring into others, again, that phrase of my cup is low, it's empty. And when we get in that space, we try to take matters into our own hands. We look at our cup and we look at how little is in it, and we go, oh no, how can I do this? And so we think, I need to keep as much liquid in my cup as possible. I can't pour any out because then I'll have less. First, I need to fill it, and maybe it can come out of the overflow. And so we'll go through life, and we're so worried about not spilling that we kind of avoid people. And we're like, keep to ourselves, because if we bump into someone, we might spill a couple drops. And so we isolate, and we just keep to ourselves, and we go, okay, I need some me time. I need to focus on myself. I need to do my own thing. But I want to encourage you. God's way is different. And so right now, we're going to do is we're going to play Flip Cup. Not the kind you might have played on a Saturday night in college, but this cup is saying, instead of holding my cup up, focusing on not spilling a drop, instead, we're going to worry about pouring into others. We're going to flip our cup over and pour into those around us. And we're going to trust, and this is the key truth for today, is that you cannot pour into others faster than God can fill you up. Pouring into others is actually how God will fill you up. In Philippians 2:17, Paul's writing, he says, but I will rejoice, even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God, just like your faithful service is an offering to God. And I want all of you to share that joy. Pouring out our life, it leads to being filled with joy. And like Paul, I want all of you to share that joy of pouring into others, because we cannot pour into others faster than God can fill you. God can fill your cup if it's low, if it's empty, even if it's upside down. He's God, he's supernatural, and we just need to do our job and pour into those around us, share Jesus' love, and we can trust that God will do his job in filling our cup. So we're doing Flip Cup, and instead of walking around with it to ourselves, we're going to walk through life pouring it out onto all of us around us. You know, we're dumping water on people around us. Maybe we're turning it into a super soaker and we're spraying everybody. Sorry, that's the student director in me. But we're going to trust that we can pour into others and that it's God will fill us up.